The word love can officially be added to the weapons list. You don't believe me? What about now?
If ain't nobody ever told y'all this morning, I love y'all. I care about y'all.
And now?
I just wanted to say, good morning, I love y'all.
Let's get into it. I'm not gonna lie. When I first started looking at women who date monsters, I didn't see the love bombing at first, because how could love be used as a weapon, like straight up? To me, you can tell when somebody is being fake with you or pretending that they love you if they have ulterior motives. But no, it goes deeper into that. So, as I was building this series, and this is going to be one of multiple parts, I wanted to go deeper into, did Darnell Jones and Jarvis Butts love bomb? Butts love bomb. The name is just, even the name creeps me out. And I determined absolutely yes. I want to start by the steps or the ways that love bombing can show up. Because when people think love bombing, a lot of us just think like just, I love you, I love you, I love you. But let me go into the very first step, the romantic overload early on. So in this scenario, you've just started dating someone or you just started meeting a person. And within days, they're calling you their soulmate, talking about marriage, saying they want to put a baby in you, and things like that. I've never felt this way before is one of the things that you may hear them say. So why is this considered love bombing? Because number one, it's going to be excessive and premature affection used to hook you emotionally before trust is built. A lot of people, they want to feel like they're loved. And that's why I like what this woman has to say about why that is so effective early on. Let's listen to her really quick.
He could make them do whatever he wanted them to do with the hopes that they would be the one he would pick to be with forever. Grandma, granddaughter, aunts, nieces, none of that mattered. Men like that know how to capture women who are like that. He's a master manipulator.
And you may say, like, how is this the romantic overload early on? It's the romantic overload early on was because he had to find a family of people. And not even just with the Shannon Harrises and the Nanette Harrises and all of that. He had to find a family of people that would be successful to his love bombing. Okay, if you know who you are in a lot of cases, the moment it came out that this man was on record, he would have been gone in most instances. But he wasn't. Let's say that Shannon, who was the one who brought him essentially into the building, let's say that Shannon didn't know. Let's say he got a hold of her early. You mean to tell me Annette didn't have a problem with him being a PDF? Or the twin Marquita didn't have a problem with it? So you got to hit hard early on in order to hook them with love to get them to do what you want them to do. And in this case, we know, give him access to Nasiah. Wait, T, you losing me. What is going on? Really quickly. This guy, Jarvis Butts, was responsible or is being held responsible for the unaliving of 13-year-old Nasiah Harris. She has never been found, but due to the weird text messaging that he had with her that was totally inappropriate, they had a probable cause hearing, and he's set to stand trial with the jury selection being started in October. This guy, Darnell Jones, or Darnell Ogletree, as it is all over the Facebook, was responsible for the month of March for the unaliving of his daughter, who was also 13 years old. They found her, and this case is still being developed. They haven't even laid her to rest. So in both cases, there are two things that are similar. Number one, a grandmother had custody of Nasiah Harris, and the grandmother of both the mothers. So the mother's mother had custody of both girls. So in Darnell Ogletree or Darnell Jones case, the woman is Dorothy. And Dorothy had access to Kimani, which gave him access. In Jarvis's case, Annette Harris had access to Naziah because she was the guardian, and as a result he had access. So that's what's going on with these cases. So love bombing, because of the atrociousness of these men's prior history and things like that, what would be the reason that women who are normally caregivers would have these men around? So we did the very first step, the romantic overload. These men, when they love bomb, one of the ways they do it is being romantic, going overboard early on. Number 2, constant gifts and grand gestures. Scenario: they shower you with expensive gifts, surprise trips, or lavish dates, even when you say it makes you uncomfortable. Why? It's also love bombing. The over-the-top giving creates a sense of indebtedness. You owe them now. They've done this for you, and trust me, they are keeping record of the love bombing that they're doing, and because of it, you're going to be indebted, and the dependency making it hard to step back or question things. If he didn't care about me, why would he do things for me? Now, in both cases, neither man had access to a lot of money. So you would say, Toy, ain't nobody giving nobody constant gifts. Jarvis didn't have, he was a mechanic. And I'm not really sure what Darnell was doing. He was doing a little bit of everything. That's where the grand gestures come in at. Could have been posting your face all over Facebook, telling everybody that they love you, introducing you to their family, just big spectacles so that you would know that they have chosen you. It's all a part, again, of the love bombing. Let's look at this self-proclaimed narcissist and what he has to say. He's going to talk from the standpoint of gifts, but it's the same thing. Let's listen.
If a narcissist or toxic person does you wrong and gets you a gift and you accept said gift, then they feel like they are forgiven. No matter what they did wrong, no matter how heinous or atrocious the act that they did to you was, if you accept the gift, they are forgiven.
Now, this should not go without question that grand gestures can also be babies. Darnell has a few kids, but Jarvis has a lot of children. So he may not have been given money, but in his mind, he giving you a baby, so y'all connected forever. The next one is excessive communication. They love bomb that way. It's going to be excessive text messaging, excessive video posts. Darnell went live regularly. It's hard. You'd be hard pressed to really find a lot about Jarvis. I think because he was a registered PDF and Darnell was not on paper as being any PDF, even though he was responsible for the unaliving of his daughter. And it appears that there was something that happened when they did found her. Jarvis was registered, so he may not have wanted to be on the internet as much because people would have kept probably bringing that up. But text messages, the amount of text messages that Jarvis sent Naziah was just a lot. That was his way to keep in contact with her and to keep her where he wanted to keep her. So excessive communication, non-stop texting, calling, or messaging. Even from prison, Jarvis Butts is calling people and has access to people and are getting people to do what it is he wants them to do. You only need to take one search and find that out. Whereas, like I just mentioned, Darnell went live a lot on Facebook, and I'm sure that the people that was in his life, that he was constantly contacting them too. They get upset if you don't respond quickly and say things like, I just miss you so much all the time. Or why it's considered love bombing. It's meant to overwhelm your emotional bandwidth and keep your attention focused solely on them, especially since they gave you the gifts. Do we need to go back and go over the list, the romantic overload? They told you how much they love you and how much they need you and all of that kind of stuff. And now they got you the gifts or gave you a baby and all of that and whatnot. And now I'm trying to reach you on the phone and I can't get you. Excessive communication is definitely part of the love bombing, and they use it to their benefit greatly. The next one is quick intimacy and oversharing. This is the scenario. They tell you deep secrets or trauma very early to create false intimacy and pressure you to do the same. So there has been talk that with Jarvis Butts, that something very well may have happened to him in his childhood, okay? Which most PDFs, when they do offend, it's because they have either been introduced to that kind of thing early on as children themselves, or they've been, subject to it themselves. And so, what if he being Jarvis Bus, told Shannon about his past and then pretty much said it happened to him? Would that make a woman who's already insecure, and from her history of having reached her or got a hold of her when she was a teenager, wouldn't that have made her feel obligated to listen to him and not create him as a monster? The quick intimacy and oversharing is a really big thing, but I wanna go a little bit further for the quick intimacy. I want us to look at this video. In this video, Darnell, had apparently been pew-pewed because he was attempting to go into someone's house, and they gave him the business for his efforts. But he's in this video, he has just bandaged himself up, and he's in this video, and you can tell he's looking for attention and trying to explain who he is, because his base is Facebook. He needs to make sure that people don't think he's the monster. You can tell that he is trying to do that, but then when he realizes that he's moving around and then doing too much, he tries to say, yeah, but I am in pain. I do need, to get better. I'm acting like it's not bothering, but it is bothering me. Let's listen to this video real quick.
And there's been a lot of people talking big boy stuff, man. Like, a lot of people, they talking about I was too drunk, I should never walked in somebody's house. Okay, a 40 caliber, I'm only 170 pounds, 180 pounds. A 40 caliber up close is gonna knock you on your ass. When I got hit, I remember when I got hit, I fell straight to the ground and I bust my head. So, but anybody that keeps saying I should have never been in a house, I was never in their house. I never walked in a house. I never did nothing of this sort. Matter of fact, y'all see where it's stained at, right? Right up all through there. That's where I was laying at. I was drunk. I climbed down my stairs. I went around. I took a piss right here. I climbed up the stairs. Boom, 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 boom. I noticed I was on the wrong side. I went to come over this pole, and I was knocked back on the ground. Other than that, I'm great. I see me moving around like everything is just so good, but it really hurts. Gotta fight through this shit, though.
And by the way, sir, after what you did to Kimani, we absolutely believe you did try to get up in them people's house, and we absolutely believe they did give you the business. As many of you know, I've been writing or creating monsters full-time for over 20 years. In my book, Raunchy, I go into detail about how when you are connected to a PDF early on, how that can impact not only your life or the child's life, but if they have children, their lives. But this situation where men love bomb has like larger implications because of the mental warfare that they have on you. I don't know if y'all ever been exposed to a narcissist. It is hard to get away from them. They will ruin your lives. Which brings us to the you complete me talk. This is another form of love bombing. The scenarios, they say things like, I wasn't even living before I met you, or I can't live without you. And why is it love bombing? It sounds romantic, but it's actually manipulative because it places the emotional burden of the well-being on you. So in the event that you do something that hurts their feelings, then if I snap or go off, it's because of you. That's what they have in their minds. Now you are in charge of their well-being when half of us can't be in charge of ourselves. Half of us cannot be in charge of ourselves. Now I gotta be in charge of you too and worrying about how you feel and how you take care of yourselves. The public declarations. I kind of talked about this about the grand gestures, but it's the same thing. They're posting about you constantly on social media. I know that Darnell was famous for that. Jarvis wasn't doing it as much because you'd be hard pressed to find his footprint with the exception of the videos that people put up of him, because again he was registered, and if you're registered you got to be careful. All it takes is one person saying, ain't you the one who And then you embarrassed and you probably want to crawl up under your house where you need to be anyway. But they're posting constantly about you on social media, tagging you in long love letters, introducing you as the one to everyone right away. It's love bombing because the public display pressures you to reciprocate even if you aren't ready. So now, where is my video or post on your social media? Are you hiding me? You don't want people to know we together? Now, the too good to be true behavior is definitely something that I am familiar with and that I write a lot about in my books. The scenarios, they mirror everything you like, your music, your hobbies, your values. They seem perfect, almost like a dream version of your ideal partner. Why is it love bombing? Because it's a performance designed to gain your trust and admiration quickly, not genuine connection. If I know what you like, then I'll just do more of that. And that'll give me access to whatever I want access to. And in this case, we know Jarvis wanted access to, and Darnell probably just wanted access to a little bit of everything. So let's look at this. Let's look at this video, though. This video is going to hurt some people's feelings. Some people already feel this way, but I want you to hear more about what this woman has to say.
I don't know if this has been said or not, or said this way, but Jarvis Butts was on that whole family. And I believe they were jealous because in that dynamic, it's giving that he was showing that he favored Neziah. And I also know in families like that, there is no camaraderie. It's only competition. Because ain't no way all of that was going on in that house and nobody else knew. And to even go deeper with it, I believe the grandmother and the aunt knew what happened. He knew exactly what he was doing when he scoped that family out. And I wouldn't be shocked if they were in there fighting like cats and dogs over him. He was living the dream. Could you imagine having 5 or 6 pick-me's in one house and access to all of them? Complete access to all of them. And especially now, one of the things that we've learned on this app is that a dude doesn't have to be attracted to you to be physical with you. Because when it comes to that grandma and them aunts and whichever aunt he was married to, you know good and dang well he ain't find none of them attractive. He found them easy, obtainable, constantly available, but he did not find them attractive. I don't care what nobody say. And it's one thing as women that most of us know, that the best physical time comes from a toxic, narcissistic man. Because as an educator, and especially as a special educator, when that clerk read those text messages out loud, I heard a 12-year-old boy. Neziah's responses were more mature in context at 12, 13 years old than him in his 40s. He pretty much was a cult leader, though, which is why, again, they are still protecting him. Men like that know how to capture women who are like that. He's a master manipulator. He owns them mind, body, and soul. Because I haven't heard it said, but so far from the evidence, meaning from the courtroom and their behavior, I've never heard them say that any of the other women in that house had a man. They need to snatch all them phones, all them laptops, all them records from every woman in that house and even the extended family. Don't be surprised if at some point they all get arrested.
Okay. That is one thing. That is very important because if it's true, where a lot of people believe that Jarvis Butts looking the way that he looks would not find Shannon Harris attractive. I always believe beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and I don't care what a lot of y'all say, he's okay. But some people do say in comparison, they feel like it's one thing or another. That would definitely fall under the too good to be true behavior. I'm not saying that he wasn't attracted to them, but it is a form of love bombing, and it's very effective, almost too effective. Final, the sudden withdrawal or shift. This is another form of love bombing. After intense infection and pursuit, they suddenly go cold or distant, leaving you confused and craving the initial high. Why is it love bombing? This is the manipulation phase that builds dependency so that you chase their validation. You constantly have to be looking for them. And they feel a kind of way if you don't. Now, I want to look at some Facebook posts really quickly that Darnell put up on his account. And it goes right into the sudden withdrawal and all of that. And then we're going to listen to a video from a guy who sums it up perfectly for me. Bone Ogletree. He says, I'm deleting all my social media. If you want to get in contact with me, ask for my number or send me yours. I will be deleting this by Monday, so let me know. Off cusp. He's showing that he is fickle and that if he doesn't get his way, he will withdraw. Then he goes in. He's been doing this a lot. F everybody. And if it hurts your feelings, yeah, I'm talking about you. Clean energy, somebody put. Good thoughts bring good things. And then he gonna come back one day and say that whoever against me, F you. Finally, I pull one where it says, look here, I don't give a F about anybody's feelings. MFs want smoke, come at me the hard way. Y'all, I can't, as a writer, it bugs me to no end when I see the word come spelled like that. It's COME, please. The hard way, F all you hoes. Laugh out loud. Y'all, real life. And then he put the real life cats. So he did that, but I feel like Jarvis does that too. Even though, again, we don't have a lot of video proof of him doing that. And the reason I say that is because his way of sudden withdrawal, in my opinion, includes getting another woman. If you won't do it, I'm going to get somebody else to do it. And that makes all of this dangerous because listen to what this gentleman says that really struck a chord with me.
Narcissism at its core simplified is just extreme shame disorder. These people are very insecure and cannot regulate their own nervous system, so they use others for that. How do they do that? All narcissists are avoidants, but not all avoidants are narcissists. What does that mean? Avoidants project how they feel about themselves onto their partners when they're insecure subconsciously. Whereas the narcissist, since they're always insecure, projects how they feel onto their partner with the intent to control them.
And I'm going to pause right here because like I said, I've been studying this for over 20 years, these kind of men. There is a misconception that a narcissist is really strong, that they're an alpha male. A lot of the alpha males, and I'm talking about the alpha males that go around saying they're alpha males, not the ones where you're like, I ain't talking about them. A lot of the alpha males are narcissistic and they are in constant need of validation to the point where they don't care that it's surfacey. They don't care that it's not depth. In other words, if everybody believes that I'm this thing, that's good enough for me. But listen to what he says continuously.
But since they have to maintain the mask they created, the mask is covered with grandiosity and entitlement. Since it's a personality disorder, these people cannot change because changing would require looking in at themselves, and looking in at themselves would activate their shame wound, and then their shame wound would make them be dysregulated, and when they're dysregulated, they start to lash out, and when they lash out, there goes their public image.
Do we not know if this happened with Darnell, where his public image was about to be destroyed based on whatever was happening, and so he did what he did?
That's why narcissists only live in environments they can control, where they surround themselves with very empathetic, naive people. After the white knight method stage where they bring the problem in, they use triangulation, which is where they're telling other people what they're doing, but saying it as if you're the one doing it to them. This is a way for them to save face and keep that good public image so that people don't actually think they're these abusive pieces of shit, which leads into the fourth stage, which is devaluation. At this stage, they realize that you're not going to be manipulated anymore and you're not giving them a reaction, so they need to go find someone new. How are they going to do that? They're probably going to cheat.
This is why Jarvis continuously get other women and have more and more women. I don't really know what Darnell's situation is, but this is what they do. They replace people easily.
Are going to bring someone else into the relationship? But since they used triangulation earlier on, all the people around them are going to feel like you're this bad person. That way, when it comes to the fifth stage, which is the discard, they don't look like the piece of shit they actually are. At this point, if the narcissist still thinks you're a threat, then they do something called a smear campaign. This is where they destroy your public image to discredit you from ever speaking out against them. That way you look like the crazy one. Why do they do this? Because it's an attempt to still control you, even after you've left the relationship. Narcissism at its core simplified it.
Now, I talked about this with the Shannon, Annette, all of them fit the criteria for perfect villains because they absolutely had everything to do with opening the door for this food. But the smear campaign is so effective right now that you hear more about her and Annette than him. Now, it could be that he's in jail. I'll give you that. But I've been researching this case for a while, and I'm telling you, at some point it's almost like he's not even a factor. Love bombing, when it's effective, not only can destroy your mentality or your mental health status and state of mind, but it can destroy your life. And if you let it, destroy the people who you're supposed to be taking care of, those who look up to you for protection and security.